Hey everyone, today I want to give you guys an update on how things are going in our homeschool. This update is for October and November, and now we are already in December. I was hoping to get updates to you at the end of each month, but October, November, and now December have all kind of just blended together. And that's because there's just been basically two things going on, and I'll share those with you in just a minute. The other thing that I want to share with you in this update video is how things are going in terms of the curriculum that I chose. So I shared with you a while ago at the beginning of the school year all of the different curriculum choices that I had for my 7th, 5th, 3rd, and 1st grader. I want to let you know how those are working for us. Are my children enjoying them? Are they not enjoying them? Have we changed anything? Just want to give you an update on how things are working. So first off, let me share with you what's been going on in our home October, November, and now into December. Two things really. The first one is birthdays. We have been in birthday mode all of October, November. Of the 9 people in our family, 6 of those have birthdays in October and November in about a 7-week period. It's my husband and 5 of the kids. So lots of birthday stuff going on around here. The other thing that's been going on around here is sickness. We have been passing around several different bugs for about 10 weeks. I think this is the longest stretch that we have been sick ever. I'm a large family. I mean, we're a large family. I know that when one person gets sick, it's all good. It's going to go through the whole family. But usually it happens in like a 3, maybe 4-week period, not 10 weeks. We've had maybe 2 weeks in that time period of 10 weeks that we have been healthy. The rest of the time, I've had at least one person, if not more, sick on any given day. So how has that affected our homeschooling? Well, I'm very, very thankful that this year I picked a lot of curriculum that my kids could do independently, which meant that when I had sick kids, I could care for my sick ones and the healthy ones could continue on with their schoolwork. So that was such a blessing. The one subject that I actually do teach the kids is spelling, and we didn't get very far in that. We probably got maybe 3-4 weeks at the most with each kid in terms of spelling. But I'm okay with that. The Lord knows He's in control, and so I'm not worried about it. But it was nice that in all the other subjects, the kids could keep moving along. So even though we've been sick for a 10-week span of time, all of the kids have probably gotten at least 4 or 5 weeks of school done, some more, just depending on, how long they were sick and all of that and how many times they got sick. So that's kind of what's been going on in our home, and I hear kids. So what I want to do is go through each of my kids and their core subjects, share with you what we're using and how it has been working this school year so far. So as I share, I will put a little picture up here of the curriculum so that you know exactly what I am talking about. We'll go ahead and start with my 7th grader. My 7th grader for science is using BJU Press Life Science. That's their 7th grade life science program, and she is doing that through the distance learning program, the videos, and she is really, really enjoying that. She just finds the videos very engaging, very interesting. It is a very challenging course, though, I will say that. I think it is very close to a high school biology course. So it is challenging, but she's enjoying it, and I'm really liking the instruction that she's getting on those videos from the distance learning program. So that's science. It's going really well. For literature, she is using BJU Press Explorations in Literature, and she's doing that through their distance learning program as well. So that is all videos or video instruction, and she is actually really liking the literature program. And this is something that I just want to throw out there. I know that I keep saying how much I am loving BJU Press materials, and specifically BJU Press Distance Learning. And I've had several people comment and share with me that they want to love BJU Press materials, but they're just finding them very dry and boring, and their kids are not really finding them engaging. So I want to kind of share with you my thoughts on that and my experience with that. I have never, besides this year, I have never, well, I take that back. Last year was the first time, mid-year, that I decided to try BJU Press distance learning for my second grader. So he did science and history through the distance learning program last year, and we enjoyed it so much that this year I decided to do almost all BJU Press distance learning with most of my kids. Before that, I have never used distance learning, BJU Press distance learning or any other distance learning program. Last year was the first time that we ever really did videos in our homeschool. The only other time that I've used BJU material is way back when my oldest was in 7th grade. We used BJU Press explorations in literature. So the same thing that my current 7th grader is using for literature, I used years ago with my oldest. Now back then, BJU Press was known as Bob Jones. We were using Bob Jones curriculum, but BJU Press stands for Bob Jones University Press. So we called it Bob Jones back then. So I actually forgot until I had gotten the books, the curriculum in the mail, I had forgotten that I had used BJU material before, but it was just the literature that I had used before with my oldest. And we liked it. Way back when we used it, we liked the literature program. I thought that it was a good program. It really gave her a good grasp of literature and all the different concepts in literature, but I would say it was a little dry. Now, here's why I think it was dry. Number one, she was reading the text, answering the questions, and we were having the discussions sometimes. I was not doing any of those other activities. When you get the teacher's manual, there's all those different activities and other ideas and things to talk about with your kids. I wasn't doing any of those. I think I had a whole bunch of little ones and a baby at the time, and we didn't get to those. And so I think that was one of the reasons why it was dry for us back then. But it is not dry or boring for my current 7th grader. She is loving explorations in literature. She's enjoying it way more than I thought that she would. And I think the reason is because of the videos. It's the distance learning program. Because she's not just reading a textbook and answering questions. She is reading the textbook. She is answering the questions. We are having the discussions. But she is getting some really great teaching. It's engaging. She's really enjoying it. And it just adds more to the program, to the curriculum. It just adds a richness that you don't get if you don't do the videos. And so I think that's one of the reasons why for all of the subjects, my kids are really enjoying BJU Press materials. It's the great, engaging, fun instruction that they're getting on the videos. So just wanted to put that out there. That's my experience. I'm not saying that if you use the distance learning videos that all of a sudden it's going to come to life for your kids. I mean, this BJU distance learning is a great fit for us right now. Might not be a great fit for you guys, but that's just something that I wanted to share with you. I got a little off track, little rabbit trail there, but I just wanted to point that out to you. So for my 7th grader, science, BJU Press, distance learning, enjoying that. BJU Press, distance learning for literature as well. She's really enjoying that. For history, she is using the Mystery of History, and she is reading that independently. I have a chart that I will hopefully take a picture of and put up right here for you. I have a chart that she just follows. It has the whole year planned out for her. She just is working her way through that so she can do that really independently, so that's really helpful. She, in the past, has loved the Mystery of History. She used it. She used volume 2. We did that as a family. We did that. I read it to all of my kids, and she loved it at that time. Last year, she did the Mystery of History on her own. She read it herself, and then she did the notebooking pages, and she really enjoyed it. This year, I thought it would be good for her to learn how to do her own note-taking. Instead of having the notebooking pages and them kind of helping her pick out the key ideas, I wanted her to learn how to pick out the key ideas herself. So she's reading the textbook herself, she's taking notes, and then she's doing like the map work and the activities, but she's not doing the notebooking pages. She's not liking it as much. She enjoys the reading, but it's just taken her a lot of time to get all the note taking done. I think it's a good skill. We're pressing on in it, but it has made it not as fun for her and not as enjoyable as in years past. So that's kind of a bummer. I'm trying to think of ways to change that, maybe not having her do the note taking, although I want her to work on developing that skill better. So I'm just trying to think, over this Christmas break, think about how we might change it and tweak it a little bit for the next half of the year so that she really can enjoy history. Because if you're not enjoying it, you don't retain it as well. So I'd almost rather her read the textbook, enjoy it, and retain it than read it, take notes, but not really retain a lot of it because she's so busy taking notes and being overwhelmed by taking notes. So I'm still processing that and trying to weigh the pros and cons of having her take notes and all of that. So she is using the Mystery of History. She's doing it independently. She likes the readings. She doesn't like the note taking. So that's how that's going. For English, she is using BJU Press Distance Learning. She's doing their English 6th though, instead of 7th grade English. The way BJU Press has it is in 7th grade, half a semester is English, which is grammar and writing. The other half of the semester is literature. I wanted her to have a whole year of English, of grammar and writing, so we just went down to the 6th grade one, and she's doing a whole year of grammar and writing. But we did get their 7th grade literature as well. That's one semester, and we're kind of stretching it out over the whole year. She is doing really well with the English. The instruction has been great for her. There are some things that I haven't been able to work with her on in terms of writing and grammar in years past. So I feel like the distance learning videos are really filling in some of the gaps that we had in that area. She is doing pretty well with it. She doesn't love English. That it takes a unique person to love English. So she doesn't love English, but she's enjoying the videos and she's learning a lot from that. And then for math, my 7th grader is using Matthew C, and she's just plugging away just fine at that all by herself. She puts in the video, she watches it. She's been able to understand it fine without much input or help from me, and so she's able to do pretty much all of the math you see independently. Every now and then I answer a few questions. So that's going really well for her too. So I think we'll probably stick with Matthew C all the way through because that curriculum is just really clicking with her and working really well. And when I say all the way through, I mean like all the way through high school. She'll just probably continue with Matthew C. So that's my 7th grader. Let me go ahead and move on to my 5th grader. So for science, my son is using, can you guess it? BJU Press Distance Learning, their Science 5. Oh my goodness. I'm totally mixing up my children. My 5th grader, I think I did this in another video too. I switched my kids around. My 5th grader is a girl, and she is doing BJU Press Distance Learning Science 5, and she is really enjoying it. She's getting a lot out of it. Her one thing that she's not too happy about when it comes to BJU Press Distance Learning and the curriculum is that we are not getting to the experiments. Almost lost my train of thought there, but we are not getting to the experiments. I have my supply crate and it is filled with everything my kids need to do the experiments. The problem is the time. So she just is not able to do a lot of the experiments herself. Some of them she can, but a lot of them she needs some assistance and guidance from me, and we've been sick for 10 weeks, so we have not gotten to them. The one thing that's really nice is on the videos, they usually, not always, but usually do the experiment for the student. So if we don't get to it, she still saw the experiment take place on the videos, but she wants to do it herself. So she's liking it. It's going really well. She just wants me to help get to those experiments. For reading, she is doing BJU Press Distance Learning as well. She's liking it, and it's going well. The two things that I want to kind of say about the 5th grade reading. One, she's not really reading, and the same thing for all of the BJU reading and literature programs so far. So my 7th grader, 5th grader, 3rd grader, they don't have them reading like novels or books. They're just reading parts of stories and analyzing them and talking about them. Now they do have, I think it's called the book links. We haven't gotten to those yet, so I think those will be nice when they're actually reading actual books. But that is one thing that she's a big reader. She loves reading. She reads in her own time. So I think she would really enjoy reading a novel and having discussion about it, or I say discussion on video because she really wouldn't be participating in the discussion. But I think that would have been something that she would have really enjoyed, is to read a novel and then analyze the whole novel instead of little pieces of stories. So that's kind of one thing. The other thing for reading is she's not doing any of the quizzes or tests. I just felt like it wasn't fruitful. Like it wasn't adding anything to her learning. So I just said she doesn't need to do any of the quizzes or tests for reading. So she's doing the assignments, but not the quizzes and tests. Okay, moving on. History. 5th grade history, she is doing BJU Press, Distance Learning, History 5, and she is learning a lot. She's loving it. I'm loving it. I just can't even tell you how thankful I am for the BJU Press material. Their history curriculum is great. I love that my kids are learning history through the lens of a Christian worldview, that they're learning to think critically about different ideas that are taking place throughout history. And so I'm really, really happy about that. So that's going really well. And I'm going to take a quick break because I hear a child crying. And then I'll come back and share with you the rest of 5th grade, 3rd grade, and 1st grade. I'll be back. I am back, and I believe we left off on my 5th grader, and we are going to jump to English. I don't remember what I was saying before. Doesn't matter. We're moving on to English. So for English, my 5th grader is using BJU Press Distance Learning English 5. It is working really well for us. I'm really happy with the English program from BJU Press. I'm liking the grammar and the writing instruction. The fact that I don't have to teach it and somebody else is teaching it to my kids, and they're getting consistent instruction in English, grammar and writing, is exactly what we needed this year. I've used other grammar and writing programs in the past. I've loved them, but they are teacher intensive. So the fact that she's getting that instruction, good instruction, and her grammar and writing skills are improving and she's making progress, I'm really happy, and she's really liking the instruction in the videos. So that's going really well. For math, my 5th grader is using Math UC, and she's able, like my 7th grader, to put in the video, watch the video, and really understand the instruction without me having to give any additional instruction. So that's working really well for us. She's grading her assignments, her daily, assignments. I'm grading the quizzes and tests. And then for spelling, we're doing the Spell to Write and Read program, and that is working for us when we get to it. But with all of the sickness going around, we haven't gotten to as many spelling lessons as I would have liked. But everything considering, it's going well. It just is a very teacher intensive program, but I just love it so much. So we are sticking with that. All right, let's jump to my 3rd grader, who is a boy. I got my 5th grader, my 3rd grader mixed up there before, but my 3rd grader is my son. And I got another kid coming in. Hi, buddy. I'll be back. All right, you guys, thank you so much for bearing with me and all of the interruptions, but that is life when you have 7 kids and you're trying to squeeze in making a video. But I wanted to finish up with my 3rd grader and my 1st grader. So let's see if we can squeeze this in here before all of the kids need mommy time. So for my third grader, he is using BJU Press Distance Learning for science, for reading, for history, and for English. In third grade, their history and their science are each a semester. So right now, he is just doing science, and then he's almost finished with that, and then he'll move on to history. He's loving the science. He really enjoys it, to the point that he will re-watch the lessons sometimes. And I have to tell him, you can re-watch it, but do it in your free time. Like, you need to move on to another subject. You guys, the memory on my camera was full. So I had to go clear the memory, transfer everything over to my computer so I could finish this video. So while that was happening, I played with the kids, I cleaned up the kitchen, I made dinner, it's in the oven, my husband's home, he's got the kids outside and they're playing, and so hopefully I can wrap up this video for you guys. I'm not exactly sure where I left off. I think I was talking about my third grader and him really enjoying and liking BJU Press Distance Learning. So I'm just going to leave it at that. It's working well for him. The other two subjects, his core subjects that he is doing that are not BJU Press Distance Learning, is math and spelling. Math, he is using MathUC, and he is in, I want to say it's Gamma, but it's multiplication. Single digit and multiple digit multiplication. We are finishing up his multiplication facts and going to be moving into, double digit multiplication and multiple digit multiplication, all of that. He is struggling with memorizing those multiplication facts, but we are just moving on. I am trying to think of some creative ways to get him excited about practicing his multiplication facts. I just have not found something yet for him. And he has the ability to memorize them. He just needs motivation, and he needs it to be interesting, like to engage him. And I just have not found a good fit for him. So that's math. He's doing pretty good. He's able to work independently with MathUC, but we need a little bit more practice on those math facts. And then spelling, like I said earlier, we're using Spell to Write and Read. And with sickness, I think he got maybe 4 weeks worth of lessons in. And that's just, it's a teacher intensive program. I'm sticking with it because I love it so much, and I just think even the little bits that we're getting in are making a huge difference. So he's really progressing a lot in his spelling. And actually he said, Mom, these words are getting easier, and they're not actually getting easier, just his knowledge and understanding of the English language and phonics is really just growing exponentially right now. And so I'm probably going to bump him up a little bit into some more advanced lists because he is doing so well, even with the little amount of spelling that we've gotten to. All right, finally is my first grader, and my first grader is using BJU Press Distance Learning for 2 subjects, for science and history, and again, those are 1 semester, so we have not tried the history yet. She's right now finishing up science. She has, I think, a few more, maybe a unit or lesson or whatever, not lesson, a few more units, I think, maybe 1 or 2 units left of science before she moves to history. But she really is loving science. One of the great things that I am enjoying about first grade science from BJU Press is that when they want the kids to read in the book, they don't tell them to pause the program and read it. For my first grader, that would mean that I would be reading the pages to her. And they don't do that. They don't have them pause the program. They actually read the pages right there. They put the page up on the screen and they highlight the words as the teacher reads them. So technically, she doesn't really even need the textbook. So that I'm loving, because she, even in first grade, can do science completely independently. The worksheets afterward are optional. I don't make her do them because it's first grade and I just want exposure to science. I don't really care if she does the worksheets, but she loves them and she wants to do them. Usually she asks an older sibling to help her, to read the instructions, and then she does it on her own. So I'm actually not helping a whole lot with science at all, which has been a huge blessing because, well, we've been sick and I've got little ones. I've got a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old to take care of as well. So really thankful for that and interested and excited to see what first grade history is like for her. But right now we've only used the science and she's really liking that. All right, for her, for reading and spelling and phonics, it's spell to write and read, and then I have her read different books that we get from the library or we have at home that are at her reading level, and she's making progress in that. She's doing really well. Not a whole lot to say on that. You guys, if you followed me, you know I love the spell to write and read program, so we are sticking with that. For math, she's doing Math You See. And, you know, I'm going to skip this for 1 second and come back to it because I have something interesting to share with you about math. All right, for language, just kind of, when I say language, I mean just learning, you know, capital letter at the beginning of a sentence, period at the end, learning about rhyming words, you know, just simple things like that. Not really phonics, but just a really easy introduction to English language. We are using Language 1 from Abeka. I will put a picture right there. And she actually really enjoys this. This was something that I said was optional for her to do. She didn't have to do it. We get a lot of English grammar and stuff in with the spell to write and read program, but she really likes doing worksheets. So these are worksheets and she really enjoys them. They're really quick. I have her do one side of a sheet each day if she wants to, and she does. And, you know, she gets finished with it within less than 5 minutes, really, unless there's sentences that she's having to write out. But then again, there's not a lot of them. So usually language takes her 5 to 10 minutes. She really enjoys it. And I feel like it's just given her a nice introduction to language, and she's able to do them mostly on her own. Okay, now I want to share with you, this is the last thing, you guys, how Math You See is going for my first grader. She is in alpha, that's single digit addition and subtraction. So she's basically just learning all of her addition and subtraction facts. She watches the video. She understands the concept. She understands 3 plus 2 is 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. You know that you can do 3 plus 2 and 2 plus 3 and it means the same. You know, what is that property? I'm losing my mind. And wouldn't you know, my dinner is beeping. You guys, I want to tell you guys about this interesting development with math, so I'll be right back. This has got to be the most interrupted video that I have ever made, but I'm really hoping that this is the last thing. I just want to tell you guys about how math is going for my first grader. So like I said, we're doing Math You See, and she seems to understand the concept. She knows 2 cookies plus 3 cookies is 5 cookies, and that's the same as flipping it around and saying 3 plus 2 is 5. She's got her math facts memorized like this. She does a worksheet, bam, 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 bam. She doesn't get anything wrong. They're all correct. So when she watches a video and she tells me that was confusing, it didn't make sense, I don't understand, I'm going, what exactly do you not understand? Because you understand the concepts, you know your math facts. So I've been a little puzzled, and I try to sit down with her after she watches the video and give her some more instruction, and she still is telling me, I'm confused, this isn't making sense. So we've been plugging along. I mean, the point of alpha is for them to memorize their math facts, their addition and subtraction math facts, and she's doing that. So we're plugging along. Here's the thing. I don't want her to be in a situation where she's continually saying that she doesn't understand when she seems to understand. Like, I'm really puzzled. As a parent, I've just been so puzzled. So set that aside for just a second, that little bit of knowledge. And I'll share just this little side note that you'll see will make a little bit more sense in a minute. I have 2nd grade math. Keep in mind, she's in 1st grade and she's doing 1st grade math, but I have 2nd grade BJU Press math, and I have the distance learning videos for 2nd grade math. That's a whole nother story of why I have it, but I've got it. And it's just sitting there unused. We have access to the videos. That's all paid for. We have the textbook. And she keeps saying, Mom, I want to do more than one BJU Press distance learning video. She loves the videos, and right now she's just doing science. Next semester she'll do history, but she wants to do more. She's like, can I have all my subjects BJU Press distance learning? That's how much she likes her science class. So I started thinking, well, I have second grade math, and the first few units in the second grade math are kind of what she is learning right now. It's addition, and there's some, I think, time or money or something like that. I have to go back and look, but the very first unit was just addition, single digit addition. So I thought, she wants to watch more distance learning videos. She is saying she doesn't understand the Math You See lessons. Why not just let her watch the BJU Press, second grade math a couple times and just see what happens? So, for the last week or so, I have said when she's all done with school, if she would like, in her free time, to watch BJU Press second grade math videos, she can. She has been watching them and loving them. The first day she watched them, she looked at me and she said, Mom, it makes sense. I understand it now. Again, I'm thinking, what do you suddenly understand? Like you always knew 2 cookies, 4 cookies, 5 bikes, 10 bikes. Like, I don't know, you guys, I don't know, but I am thrilled that it finally makes sense. Not only does it make sense to her, but she loves the videos. So the next day, first thing in the morning, can I watch BJU Press Math before I do my other schoolwork? And I said, no, you've got to get your schoolwork done. Remember, BJU Press, second grade math that's for your free time, for fun. I mean, this is how she thinks of it. It's so exciting to her. It's like what she wants to do in her free time instead of playing. So she's been doing her Math You See, she's been doing her other subjects, and when she's done, without fail, every single day, she wants to do the math videos. Even if her other siblings are done with school and ready to play, she's like, well, I'm sorry, I got to watch my math video because she likes it that much. It makes sense to her. And she thinks it is fun, to the point where I ripped out or punched out, I guess it is, all the manipulatives. I set it all up. She's doing the worksheets for it and loving it. Are we switching? Are we switching to BJU Press? Not at the moment. Here's why. First of all, I've got second grade math, and the first part of it is review, I think, of first grade, and it's where she's at right now, that first unit, single digit addition. But as it goes on, it gets harder, and I just don't think she's going to be able to keep up with that. And I don't want to go purchase the whole first grade BJU Press distance learning math right now. It's just expensive. I mean, the textbooks are one thing, but it's not the BJU Press math textbook that is making it click and making her excited. It's the videos. She is loving the video and the instruction on the videos, and that's the expensive thing. And so we just don't have it in the budget to get first grade BJU math videos for her. And the goal this year was to get her to memorize her addition and subtraction facts. And we're getting that accomplished with Math You See. The second reason I'm not switching to BJU Press distance learning right now with her for math is because Math You See is mastery based. So my kids are mastering kind of one concept at a time. So I have, one child, she's mastering fractions, and another one is mastering decimals, and my son is working on multiplication. And BJU Press is different. It's a spiral approach. So they are being introduced to addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, fractions, all of that in 1 year. And they kind of jump back and forth. So there's addition and then subtraction and time and money. And then they jump to fractions and then back to some more addition. And I don't know how she's going to do jumping around to different subjects. Right now, she's loving the videos and things are clicking, but she's only on single digit addition still. So I'm curious to see If she continues watching the videos and they start moving to different concepts and moving around, how she's going to handle that. If she does really well, we might consider using BJU Press Math next year for her. If she struggles with jumping around, then that's a good clue to me that we need to stick with Matthew C. But maybe I need to add in some other things to make it click. Because as I'm watching the videos with her, I'm realizing one of the things that's really, I think, helping her understand things is the wide variety of ways that the BJU instructors are explaining one concept. They're using number lines, they're using unifix cubes, they're using other manipulatives, and maybe that's what's making it click. I don't know. So we're kind of in a waiting period, and I'm just kind of watching and seeing how she does with the BJU Press second grade math, and I'm just going to kind of feel it out and go from there. Absolutely not making her do 2 math curriculums. That would be ridiculous. I'm telling her Matthew C is what we're using right now, and she needs to do that. BJU Press is kind of if she wants to in her spare time, and if she doesn't want to do it, she doesn't have to. I'm secretly hoping that she wants to continue doing it so that I can see how she does when they jump from different topics, how she handles that. But you know what, if she wants to stop doing it, then doesn't want to do 2 math curriculums, then she doesn't have to do the BJU Press. But right now we're doing, Matthew C is the one that we're doing for school. And then BJU is just this fun extra thing that she's really enjoying. So that is kind of an update. I'll try to keep you posted on this new development. You guys know I love Matthew C. I've used it for all my kids. I've used it from primer to calculus. I really haven't used another math curriculum. So this is kind of new. I'm treading on new territory here. So I'll keep you posted on how that goes. Matthew C's working for the other kids, but she might just do better with BJU Press Math. We'll see. So I'm so thankful that we went with BJU Press Distance Learning for a lot of our subjects this year, because it really is giving my kids a good education, but above and beyond that, it's making them excited about learning. And we could have just used the textbooks and gotten it done and saved a whole lot of money, but the videos are just really bringing life and enjoyment and fun to my kids. So super thankful that we went with BJU Press Distance Learning this year for a lot of our subjects. All right, you guys, that is it. Let's call this the end of this video. I will hopefully see you guys again soon if I can ever get any more videos recorded. Life is a little crazy right now, but thank you for watching. I will hopefully see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.